Hello, this is the science lesson for 9:15, and we are going to write down the definitions of these four vocabulary words for the unit, which is matter. We have a matter, solid, liquid, gas. But before we start this, I wanted to do this, and I played this for the group because it's just a little fun way to get started for this in a quick way. We're going to listen to this song.
Some matter can be solid and have shapes all of its own. A fixed ball, rock, a pencil, big TV, or telephone. And two more phases that exist explain the state of matter. Those gases fill the air, but liquids spell and leak and splatter. The thing you must remember is to keep these three apart. Solids stick together, gas and liquids move apart. Matter is everywhere. It can be solid, liquid, or gas. It's measured while we observe. Is it magnetic? What is its mass? To the wall, roof to floor, and everything between. It's matter what it's for, and all we're gonna see. Matter. Matter is described to us by all its properties. Is it heavy? Is it small mass electricity? Does a single with it flow with a magnet make a stick? Matter needs these properties just like a clock needs time to tick. These things they can't be measured with a balance or a scale, or a ruler or a circuit or a mirror for the pill. Matter is everywhere. It can be solid, liquid, or gas. It's measured while we observe. Is it magnetic? What is its mass? To the wall, roof to floor, and everything between. It's matter what's it for, and all we're gonna see. Matter. Conductors are the substances where energy can flow, while the insulators stop it, or at least they can go slow. Conductors are the track and electricity that's train. There's even electricity that's running through your brain. Insulators keep the flow out like a jacket made of cloth, causing energy to stop the move too slowly like a slow. Matter is everywhere. Can be solid, liquid, or gas. Well, it's measured while we observe. Is it magnetic? What is its mass? Turn wall to wall, roof to floor, and everything between. It's matter what's it for, and all we're gonna see. Matter, matter, oh.
All right, so here was just a fun little song again for them to play, to listen to. And we just quickly reminded what was the whole basis of why we listened to it. And so then we went back and we decided and we went over this. So matter, anything that has mass and takes up space. So in right next to your definition, write the definition of it, and also give an example of what matter is. Any example you want. And then you're also going to write the definitions for solid. Going to give an example. Liquid, give an example. Gas, give an example. All right, I'll give you, I'll pause the video while you type this. And then we went to gas. And next to your vocabulary word, type the definition of gas, which is matter with no set volume and no set shape. And you also notice how the molecules are far apart. That's one of the characteristics of gases. And then like this one, the liquids they're a little bit closer together, but they're still away from each other. And a liquid is a matter with a set volume but no set shape. And then a solid, you see how they're bunched together tightly. Matter with a set volume and shape. where their molecules are touched together. Please make sure you write down the definitions of these and write an example. We went over a bunch of different examples for each one as the students finished them. All right, and that's our science for today. We went over that, and tomorrow we'll go over some more definitions and watch a video on to help solidify their knowledge of different types of matter and how to classify them. And now this is for Mr. Hazen's social studies. So this is just for Mr. Hazen's social studies class. And what we did is we read this story. It's the community. I'm going to read this for you real quick in case you don't have a book. And then after I finish reading it, we actually made a Venn diagram, which I'm going to put up there so you can see. All right. And the title of this is 3 Types of Communities, and we've already known that there's a rural, urban, and suburban. So what type of, just kidding. What type of community do you live in? If your community is in the countryside where there is plenty of open space, then you live in a rural community. If you live in a large city, you live in an urban community. If you live in a suburban community, you live near a large city. The subtitle of this part is rural communities, so everything I'm going to talk about for these next 2, 3 or 4 paragraphs is going to be about rural communities. Belle Plaine, Iowa is a rural community. It is in the countryside. Belle Plaine is in Benton County. It is about 40 miles southwest of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Today, about 3,000 people live in Belle Plaine. They like to get together and have fun during the year. On the 4th of July, there are fireworks, music, and a parade. One special kind of parade is a tractorade. More than 500 tractors parade through Belle Plaine and other rural communities in Iowa. Rural communities have their own mayors and own government officials to make and enforce laws or rules for their community. Local governments also provide services such as schools for their towns. Some towns have their own schools while others share schools. Many rural communities have the technology to connect to the internet quickly or use cell phones, but others do not. People in these communities use slower dial-up phone lines to connect to the internet. Rural communities have local newspapers that share information. Some people in rural communities are farmers. Farmers grow crops like corn that people in larger towns and cities depend on. People in rural communities depend on their communities too. They travel to suburban or urban communities to buy the things that they need. In some places, people can travel by bus, and others people drive their own cars. So what we did as a group after that is we created a Venn diagram, and these are just some examples that students made. We did rural on one side and our community, your community now on the other side. And some of the stuff that they said that in rural, they're in the countryside, less people, they have farm animals, trees, lots of trees and long grass, farms and crops. They have poor phone service, not a lot of stores, small schools. Then they said in their community there were a lot more people, they have better phone service, a lot more houses, more cars, stores are more, need to make that spelled correctly, more, plentiful. And there's larger schools. But what's really neat is that they all said what they had in common, that they were people, they have houses, cars, schools. They had police and firefighters. They both had trees and grass. It was just a way for them to understand how the rules are different and similar to their own community. All right, have a great day.